You're watching We the People with Gloria Allred. Jason Kim is suing Brett Jaworski in the amount of $345 in fees after Mr. Kim's car was towed and impounded while in what he says was Mr. Jaworski's care.
Mr. Kim, what brings you to my courtroom today?
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good afternoon.
I'm here today because I'm upset at Brett and Lindsay, my friends for over 10 years, who I thought was very close friends to me. We all planned a trip to go out to Mexico, to Tijuana, to go party for the weekend, and they came in from Michigan, and I treated them as guests, and I drove them to Mexico. However, when we got to Mexico, a little drinking got involved. I could not drive back, Your Honor, and Brett insisted he would drive, but then he parked my car in a fire lane, and it got towed, and I feel like this is not my responsibility to be able to pay for this when he took it upon himself to park it at that location.
All right, thank you very much. Mr. Jaworski, what is your response, sir?
That's absolutely false. We actually wanted to take a trip from Michigan to Los Angeles. It was his idea to go to Tijuana, and when we got there, we got to a club where he had met his ex-girlfriend inside of the club, which had kind of became apparent and obvious to us that's why we went to Tijuana in the first place. And he got drunk and belligerent. His ex-girlfriend left, and he got slap drunk all over the place, taking body shots off random people. It is absolutely true. It's so true. Yeah. And as a matter of fact, I didn't just drive his car home because I offered to drive. He tried to drive from the club to Los Angeles, but I stopped him in the parking lot.
So you don't remember having that conversation with me outside the conversation?
Hey, Mr. Kim, help me understand why you allowed the defendant to drive your car.
Your Honor, to be honest, I had too much than I should have had to drink at the club.
All right.
And when that happened, I was still at that point trying to be responsible, and I didn't want to get behind the wheel knowing that Brett wasn't drinking that night. We had a conversation outside the club prior to leaving, and he clearly assured me, Your Honor, that my car would be safe.
So you asked him to drive your car because you could understand and feel and know that you were under the influence.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, that was a responsible thing to do. Now, he obtained your car, and at some point, you ended up getting the ticket, and your car was basically towed. What happened on that, Mr. Jaworski? Mr. Jaworski, uncross your arms.
Yes, ma'am. Sorry.
And coming up.
I have been to Tijuana. Those tales will never be told in this courtroom.
The FDA issued a public notice to doctors and patients concerning serious injuries caused by transvaginal mesh, bladder mesh, pelvic sling, and bladder sling. Please call now if you had one of these devices implanted in the last 5 years. You may be entitled to a cash award. If you had a transvaginal mesh, bladder mesh, pelvic sling, or bladder sling in the last 5 years,
please call 1-800-948-6544 now.
You're watching We the People with Gloria Allred.
Hey Los Angeles, I'm Jessica Vilchis, your NBC4 station host, here to tell you about one of the hippest shows in town. That's right, the one and only Cirque du Soleil brings Iris, a journey through the world of cinema, exclusively for Los Angeles. Iris offers a new take on the art of cinema as only Cirque du Soleil could imagine it, as an inventive spectacle that combines acrobatics, dance, projections, and live music. The large-scale production takes the audience on a mesmerizing journey that blurs boundaries between live performances and moving images. Featuring music by Oscar-nominated composer Danny Elfman, Iris plunges spectators into the heart of the movie-making process. From illustration to animation, black and white to color, into a world of shadows and light. Ticket prices start at $43. To get your tickets now, go to cirquedusoleil.com/Iris or at the box office at the Kodak Theater. And remember to visit NBCLA.com to check out the latest activities in the Southern California area. Have a wonderful day, everyone, and I will see you all soon. Bye.
Because I'm first generation Filipino, if it's not my parents who teach us the language or teach us about the food, then the tradition is lost. So for our family, they carry on the legacy of what being Filipino really means.
Tomorrow on Today in LA, live from Aquarium of the Pacific, get a sneak peek at the life of a penguin as we take you inside the coolest new exhibit.
And a slight cool down coming. Get Futurecast updates every 10 minutes.
Plus traffic delays and travel times tomorrow on Today in LA.
bounced any checks lately? You can get up to $1,000 in your checking account by tomorrow. Call Money Mutual today. We have a network of over 100 lenders who've saved a lot of people just like you a lot of trouble. Go to moneymutual.com or call 1-800-585-CASH now.
The biggest talent show on earth is back. Mondays and Tuesdays, 8, 7 Central. With new judge, Howard Stern.
I'm stoked to be here.
America's Got Talent. Mondays and Tuesdays, here on NBC. Tonight, it's the Fashion Star finale. With only 3 designers left.
I have to just kill it.
And a $6 million contract. Who will become the first?
You are a leader.
Fashion Star. Tonight, 10, 9 Central, here on NBC.
You're watching We the People with Gloria Allred. We're back with the case of Jason Kim, who is suing Brett Jaworski for towing and impound fees.
You were driving the plaintiff's car because plaintiff was under the influence, and you agreed to drive his car because you hadn't been drinking, is that correct?
Yes, well, I had a couple drinks. It was earlier during the night, though, and I was not inebriated at all.
All right, so
Yes.
you were driving his car. How did it end up getting towed?
Well, we had drove from Tijuana we were headed back to Los Angeles, and we decided to stop in San Diego. Jason decided to go get a hotel. When we pulled into the hotel parking lot, though, they told him it would be $25 to park the car. Jason wouldn't pay the $25 parking fee. So I went to find a parking spot on the street. I did see the fire hydrant, but I parked just a little bit in the red. I never made any personal guarantee that the car would not be towed.
Your Honor, he insured me over
Wait,
and over.
wait a second. So you're saying, Mr. Jaworski, that unless you make a guarantee to the owner of the car, you can park it illegally and have it towed and not have to pay for it
Right.
because you never made a guarantee.
In
In other words, I never promised you a rose garden type of thing.
correct.
All right. Now, sir, do you have any kind of evidence that you would like to present, Mr. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. I have the invoice and receipt from the actual towing company itself, and you can clearly see here, I paid the $345. I did the right thing and took care of it, but I feel like I should be reimbursed for it.
It's an invoice for the impound fee, and it says $345. The court will admit this into evidence. Now, you do have a witness here.
Yes, I do.
Please come forward. State your full name for the record.
Lindsay Cullen?
Welcome, Ms. Cullen. And were you on this trip?
Yes, I was.
Please inform the court of what it is you're a witness to, please.
Okay, I was a witness to us going to Tijuana to go to this party, this club.
Okay.
Okay, so once we get to Tijuana and we get to the club, Jason is acting ornery, distant, and you know what, soon we figured out, oh, the ex-girlfriend is there, so it all starting to make sense, and we both know how Jason is when he is around his ex or around girls for that matter. He gets nervous and he wants to get drunk. So then the tequila temptress comes around, he starts pounding shots, and
All right,
we were
at some
still
point
trying...
he became under the influence, right?
Yes, he became a belligerent hammer. He was jumping up and down like a little girl, shot, shot, shot. He always talks in
I
his
don't know
crazy
any
voice.
little girls that jump up and down asking for tequila shots.
Well, his voice cracks.
Obviously,
It's,
you've never been to Tijuana.
I have been to Tijuana. Those tales will never be told in this courtroom. And I was about your age when that happened. Having said that, Ms. Cullen, at some point, did you hear the plaintiff tell the defendant that he would like the defendant to please drive his car?
he was in and out of consciousness almost. It seemed blackout drunk, crying, so many emotions. He didn't have the capacity to ask us to drive. We took it upon ourselves to drive. He couldn't even barely walk.
All
He
right,
was
that's
making-
fine. So Mr. Jaworski was the one who was driving the plaintiff's car, is that correct?
Yes.
All right, now, were you at any point a witness to the fact that they went to the hotel, and I assume you were still in the car, and that Mr. Jaworski was looking for a place to park?
Yes, I was with Brett when we parked the car. We parked the car a distance away from the fire hydrant. We know that you can't park in front, but we were tired, we were stressed out, and we were maybe this much close to the fire hydrant with our bumper. I
Your Honor,
mean,
can I
In
please
other words,
explain?
you're saying you were able to observe that you were in the fire hydrant lane.
yes.
All right, thank you very much. The court is ready to rule.
Judge Allred's verdict when We the People returns. Promotional consideration provided by
My PSA was 14. One day, Janet says, "You're going to the doctor." I needed to get a second opinion, so we contacted Cancer Treatment Centers of America.
To find out more about our unique treatment options for complex and advanced stage cancer, go to cancercenter.com.
If you have prostate or lung cancer or whatever, you can see what their survival rates are.
You can also check for participating insurance plans. Cancer Treatment Centers of America is different. It's state-of-the-art medicine, unique treatment options, and a level of compassion that cannot be copied. Why our people? People who give you not only their expertise, but their humanity and the most thoughtful, well-organized, patient-centered care you'll find anywhere.
I didn't expect to learn a lesson about how to treat people by being in a hospital.
Every minute counts when you're fighting complex or advanced stage cancer. So please call or visit cancercenter.com today. Appointments are available now. Cancer Treatment Centers of America. Care that never quits.
You're watching Meet the People with Gloria Allred.
In this case, definitely the plaintiff did the right thing. He knew he was under the influence and he didn't drive. And the defendant did the responsible thing in taking the car and driving his friends instead of letting someone who was under the influence drive. So I commend you both on that decision. However, what we're really here about is the fact that you, Mr. Jaworski, you did park in the fire hydrant zone, which everyone who's testified here today, including your witness, knew was against the law to do. Now, you say, well, unless you told the plaintiff that somehow, you would take responsibility if the car were impounded, you don't have any responsibility. Court disagrees with you on that. That is a preposterous proposition. And my guess is you said it with a straight face, but you knew it made no sense whatsoever, and that you tried to sell it to the court, but sorry, no sale. If you are driving someone else's car, even though you're trying to do a good deed, you still have to obey all the rules of the road and all traffic regulations and rules. And I think you knew that you might get a ticket, maybe the car would be impounded. There could be consequences, the bottom line. There were consequences. The car was impounded. Mr. Kim was billed and had to pay for $345 to get his car out of the impound. So, Mr. Jaworski, you, sir, are the one who's going to have to pay for that judgment for plaintiff.
All rise. Judge Allred has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant is ordered to pay $345.
I hope we can maintain a good friendship even after this, and I'm happy I got my money back.
I'm very unhappy with the judgment. It cost me $345 to find out that Jason was a really bad friend.